open my scene here, and let me start the render. Alright, and we can see that if we select, I'm gonna stop this and select my sun, we can see that on the timeline, let me start the interactive. On the timeline we have 5 keyframes, so each keyframe changes the direction of the sun. And if we move those, we can see how the stuff being illuminated. Okay, so I'm gonna go back here, select my sun, and let's play with the multiplier here. So you can see that I'm using the HOSEC mode, and on that mode, that's the VRay Sun pass, this is the GI pass. So every time I'm changing the GI, the intensity of my sun, the GI is also changing. So you can see that the sun is getting brighter, stronger illumination, more exposed or less exposed, and that affects our GI as well. And this goes to those HASEC and Britain. So this is HASEC, a little bit more bluish on the colors, you can see, and the Pritam is a little bit more brighter on those. Okay, but if we put on the RGB, we can see the change between the Pritam and the HASEC. Now let's go, and a very important note, select our camera. Make sure that our camera is set to 1 second and 500 the shutter speed of 500 of a second, and the exposure gain set to manual 100 ISO, and the f aperture is 8. This is for exteriors. When we're gonna do interiors, I think the default is going to be 4, but that's the basic camera setup for that exterior scene. Okay, now let me scroll to the next frame here, 20. I'm going to select my sun again. We can see the sun is right behind. You notice the position of the sun is changing. So I'm gonna choose this one, select the sun, and lower the intensity. You can see we can see the sun, but if we tick invisible, we'll be able to remove the sun. Gonna put it back on 1. And now let's go and check the CIE clear. And CIE overcast. You can see how dense it becomes. It's got really this dusty effect to it. And let's check out this option, indirect. Horizon illumination. So you can see we can control the global illumination through this parameter here, which previously we won't be able to do. and overcast, we can see much more present of that dusty effect. Now let's go to frame 11, 10, and let's play. Let me put it back to this parameter here, so we get nice daylight. And let's play with turbidity. So normally we don't go above 10. We can see how it changes, and it doesn't go below 1, so 2 is the default. So if we want to have a little bit warmer look to our day sun casting sky atmospheric effect here, we can play with turbidity. Alright. Let's see the ozone. So you can see the ozone gives a little bit yellowish when it's all the way down, and when it's 1, it gives very bluish color here in our shadows. So if we put on 0, we can see it got a lot of yellow in it in the shadows, but with 1 we get a lot of blue bounce from the sky. Now let's try the color filter. So you can get different moods to our image by using that function. And we have the color mode here, direct, override, and the filter. So that filter been applied in 3 different ways, which is creating that interesting effect to it. Now let's select the sun, click isolate, and check out the albedo. So that's albedo ground. You can change color, and we can play with the blending amount. I want it to be sharp or more blended. And the horizon line, you can see we can move it up and down with the horizon offset, which is pretty cool. Alright, I'm gonna quit the isolation mode. Let's do something warmer like that. Now I'm going to stop. Let's switch to RT here on the active shade, and I'm going to open my environment effects and scroll down to the aerial perspective activated, and let's see how this stuff works with our scene. We can see that this cool volumetric effect of aerial coming into the scene creates really nice depth of field. Really cool feeling to it. And if we move the sky, we can see how this effect follows and gives nice realistic continuation to our scene here. Alright, so pretty cool stuff. This is how the Sky and VRay Sun system works together, and this is the additional effects that we can add to that scene in order to get much better realistic effect to what we are rendering here. Try those methods that I showed right now. Also, you're getting a handout in order to follow all the steps that we took in that video tutorial.